Right, boys. So there is a new prop firm that I've discovered recently, and I actually quite like it, and I'm even going to be buying some accounts with it. So I figured, why not give it a little review video? So if any of you other boys are interested in this company, because it is it's gone under the radar almost a little bit. I've never really heard of them until I did a bit of a deep dive into looking into some other prop firms with my TopStep accounts but essentially being full. I figured it would be a good idea to branch out to some other prop firms to start scaling and getting some more funded accounts. I am actually amazed how low under the radar this prop firm has flown, at least for me. I don't know if other people in the prop firm space have heard of Bulenox, but that is the prop firm we're going to be reviewing today. And yeah, let's get right into it. So an overview slash introduction to this video, and what personally stood out to me about Bulenox is they have competitive prices in the industry average, especially their lower size accounts are very competitively priced as far as the other prop firms in the space. They have very easy rules. We'll get more into that when we get onto the next slide. They have a very simple platform, which I will be using with them, called Project X, which is essentially just another version of TopStep X. And they have good profit splits, which they have a 90-10 profit split, and you get the first 10,000 the same as TopStep. So let's break them down a little bit more and start looking at an evaluation account. So the evaluation account obviously is your trading combine. They have one rule for the evaluation account, and that is do not hit your max drawdown. That is it. You can pass it in one day. You can pass it with no consistency rule. There is literally no other hard rule other than don't hit your max drawdown. And on a 50K account, which is the example we're going to be using in this video, as it is the account I myself will be purchasing, your drawdown amount is $2,500. So that is $500 more drawdown on a 50K account than TopStep. And I also just need to point out that I am affiliated with these as I like their rules, I like what they're about, I trust the company, and I'm going to be purchasing an account in the coming week. I just thought I'd leave it this week since we have had such a volatile start to the week and we have PPI and CPI later in the week as well as Fed Chair Powell. Yeah, I'll wait till next week and then I'll grab one of these accounts. But yeah, if by the end of this video you feel like purchasing one, then use code Kai and it will get you the best possible discount as well as give me a little kickback, obviously, for breaking down this prop firm for you. Anyway, so with Bulenox, you can get two types of accounts. You can get option one, which is an intraday trailing drawdown account, and option two, which is an end of day trailing drawdown account. Now, the only difference between these two accounts is obviously the intraday one is going to cost a lot less, and the discounts definitely favor the 50K option one. I do not favor the option one, I favor option two because with my strategy, with my model, intraday trailing drawdown will just completely fuck me. End of day trailing drawdown I can deal with absolutely fine because it's not going to be following me during my open trades where I might gain a bit of profit on the trade and then stop out a break even, for example. That on an intraday trailing drawdown account, that would count as a losing trade. So I will be going with the end of day 50K account. So I jumped onto the website just to show you why I'll be choosing a 50K account as regards to profit targets, drawdown ratios, all that good stuff. So 25K account with Bulenox, you can trade 3 contracts and you have a profit target and drawdown of 1,500, which is a 1-to-1. Now, this does seem like the better option because obviously the profit to drawdown ratio is 1-to-1, so therefore it's easier to pass. However, the cost of this account compared to the 50K account is much more, especially the activation fee. The activation fee that you will have to pay once you pass an evaluation account with the 25K account will run you about $143. For $5 more, you can activate a 50K account. So when you factor that in, absolutely the 50K is the best bang for your buck. So now breaking down the 50K a bit more, we have 7 max contracts. So if any of you boys are full porting, I'm not going to condone that, but you can full port a little bit more. Profit target 3,000 standard and drawdown of 2,500. So obviously that is a bit more drawdown than a lot of the 50K accounts. And don't worry about this $125 per month because you can actually get that cheaper. You can get it for about $96 if you use my code. So make sure you do that. And then obviously you can select option 1 or option 2. And that $96 is for an end of day account, not an option 1 account. That will be significantly cheaper, but I'm not recommending you do that because I wouldn't do that. Now, there are a couple of extra things to note if you want to go onto the help center on their website, and then you can see the breakdown of all the different rules, things you need to know for every account they have. Now, option 2 does also include a scaling plan and a daily loss limit. Option 1 does not. However, This scaling plan and daily loss limit, for me at least, I will be doing this anyway. This isn't a hard rule that I have to pay attention to. I will do it without even thinking. So for example, on an end of day account for a 50K account, when your balance is between $0 and $1,500, you are only allowed to use up to 2 minis, 20 micros, because they have the scaling to allow for that. That is perfectly fine for a 50K account, especially at that balance. And then obviously as you gain more balance, you can use more and more contracts. And then your daily loss limit on a 50K account is $1,100. That is perfectly fine with me because in one day, I am not really going to risk more than $750 with my max risk being $500 and my second trade, if I lose that first trade, being $250 for half of the original loss. So that I will do without even trying again. And you can see what I was explaining before. The 50K account comes out much better in cost to account / drawdown ratio. Now, moving on to the funded account or the master account. So a couple things I've already stated. We have the activation fee, first 10,000 goes to you, 90-10 profit split. Now on the master account, which is your funded account, you can make money off this account now. There is a 40% consistency rule. Again, a lot of these rules for this prop firm, I am going to be doing without even trying. A 40% consistency rule, and it's not a hard rule, by the way, this is a soft rule, so if you have an insane day, then you just need to factor that into your total account balance to make this 40% consistency rule apply. So again, not a rule to worry about at all, just be aware of it. However, one rule you do want to be aware of is minimum 1 trade every 5 trading days. So every Monday to Friday, make sure you at least put 1 trade on and tracked when you last traded. If you're someone who maybe doesn't get so many trades a week, definitely pay attention to this. I'm uncertain whether you could just flip a micro and that would count as a trading day. I might just try that and let you guys know, but yeah, just be aware of this. 1 trade every 5 trading days. For a lot of people, that should be perfectly fine, but if the micro flipping doesn't count as a trading day, then I will make sure I put a comment under this video to let you guys know that. Now, moving on to what you probably all came for, the juicy payouts. So there's definitely a couple things to note with the master account payouts. One is that for the first 3 payouts, you are not going to be able to withdraw less than $1,000, and you are not going to be able to withdraw more than $1,500 for a 50K account, and you can see here the breakdowns for all the other accounts. And then after the 3rd payout, there is no maximum withdrawal limit. So after that 3rd payout, then you are out the gate. You can start making as much money as you want. You will just have to obviously factor this in for the first 3 payouts. Is it a bad rule? Potentially if you want quick money. If you're looking at trading as more of a long-term thing, you're going to be in this for a while, you're not just looking to make some quick cash, then this is not a rule to worry about in the slightest. And before you can withdraw a payout, you are going to need to build a buffer of $100 above your max drawdown. This is something that TopStep recommend anyway, and it's something I personally am in the process of doing with my own TopStep accounts. So again, this is absolutely not a rule to worry about, it's just something to be aware of. Now, how many master accounts can you have with Bulenox? This is potentially an advantage for them. Over other similar prop firms like TopStep, you can have up to 11 master accounts at one time. Now, there is a slight caveat to this, it's that you can have 3 accounts simultaneously, and then for you to get another account on top of those 3, one of those 3 is going to need to be above the threshold that we just went over. So it does slightly slow you down if you're someone who might want a lot of accounts. For me, 3 master accounts at one given time, that's an extra $7,500 of drawdown that I get to play with. So for me, I mean, it is a bit annoying because you can't obviously copy trade lots of accounts at once, but again, like, it's not a rule that I really would be that bothered about with this firm. It is slightly annoying though if you are someone who wants to obviously have all 11 accounts straight away, push them all through at once. Yeah, they're trying to stop you from being able to do that apex, copy trade 20 accounts, run up in $1 million payout within a month. They're stopping you from doing that essentially. But for day-to-day traders, people that aren't like your Jade Caps pulling out $2.5 million worth of payouts, then this rule is just going to be a bit of a thorn in your side if you are wanting to scale up in your accounts. And finally, a new rule that Bulenox have put in, and this has got mixed reviews across the space. Upon completion of 3 successful payouts under a master account, and if they decide to, that is the main thing I want to stress here, then you will be moved to a live 50K funded account where the capital of up to $5,000 across each 50K account will be joined together in one live account. Now, obviously, the downside to this is if you have a 50K account with more than $5,000 in it and it gets moved to live, whatever is in that account over 5,000, you will lose. So that is definitely something to be aware of, although I have seen that this typically isn't something that you're going to need to worry about, as they are picking very specific traders that are hitting massive home run trades from what I've seen. So for me, I'm not even going to be expecting to be called up to the funded account. And if I am, I will just have to bite the bullet and deal with losing out on that potential extra money if I have more than $5,000 in the account. Now, to finish this video off, I wanted to do a little comparison between TopStep and Bulenox, as to me, they are pretty similar prop firms. And actually, it turns out Bulenox does beat them on quite a few things. Now, I love TopStep, don't get me wrong, TopStep are the first futures firm I ever traded with, and I'm currently funded with them. So nothing bad on TopStep. It is simply comparing the statistics with TopStep and Bulenox. So here on the screen, you can see a breakdown of the different statistics from each account, and this is a 50K account. And you can see that if you risk 10% per trade, which is what I would do on a funded account, then Bulenox actually comes out slightly ahead in how difficult it is to pass. You don't need to make as much of a percentage return to hit your profit target to get a payout. And is that something that you should be aware of, and something that would definitely impact me if I was aware of Bulenox before I ever started with TopStep? Absolutely it would, because 6% return might not sound like a lot, but it can be that difference between getting a payout and never getting that payout and blowing the account. So it is absolutely something you should be aware of when you are thinking about Bulenox and TopStep, because to me, these are the two real choices for evaluation 50K accounts right now. I should say, especially 50K end of day accounts. Obviously, if you wanted to include intraday accounts, then it's a whole different question. And then one final point, just to go over the cost between TopStep and Bulenox. Ignore my terrible drawing. But with TopStep, if you pass in 1 month, then you're going to pay $49 for the account and $149 for an activation fee, which comes out at $198 total. And for that $198 that you've paid, you get access to a 50K account with $2,000 of drawdown. Then we have Bulenox, which costs a little bit more when you look at just the naked price. But when you factor in that you get access to a 50K account with $2,500 of drawdown, so while Bulenox does cost a little bit more upfront, when you factor in how much you are paying in regards to the account capital you're getting access to before you lose that account, Bulenox actually comes out slightly ahead. On TopStep, you get about a 10.1 times return on your investment, and Bulenox, you get about a 10.2 times return on your investment. So yeah, Bulenox just comes out ahead on so many different things. Feel free to debate this in the comments, TopStep or Bulenox, but honestly, if I was a new trader today, I am leaning towards Bulenox. If you have that extra capital up front and you can afford that slightly more expensive account up front, then it is the better choice from everything that I can see. But yeah, feel free to debate in the comments what you think, TopStep or Bulenox. But that is going to be all from me in this video, boys. I hope you have enjoyed, and if you are going to get an account with Bulenox, make sure you use my code Kai at checkout, and that will make sure that you will get the discount applied so that you can get this deal on the Bulenox account. But yeah, that's all from me. I will catch you boys later. If you are trading this week, then I will wish you good luck, good trading. Catch you later, boys.